Back on NFL Live, let's read and react to some coaching news around the league, starting in L.A., where the Chargers fired OC Greg Roman yesterday. The Chargers offense really struggled in 2 playoff games under Roman. The Bolts scored a total of 1 touchdown in those 2 games, and that came in the fourth quarter of their 32-12 wild-card loss to the Texans last year. Overall, L.A. scored 15 fewer points and averaged almost 100 fewer yards per game in the playoffs than they did in the regular season under Roman. Dan, what does the next OC need to bring to Justin Herbert in that offense?
Yeah, I think a modern pass concept playbook that will consistently on a week-to-week basis be able to attack evolving coverages. I think that's really the sticking point for the Chargers. Is Greg Roman is fantastic when it comes to run game design, but what happened with some of their injuries is the pass game and the concepts and the evolution of those. They didn't necessarily, by week to week, meet the criteria of like, hey, this is how we're going to have to attack these certain coverages to free up people. I think that's going to be a mandate for the next offensive coordinator because they're going to have to strike in Justin Herbert's prime.
Yeah, a healthier O-line will help too, which that should happen. The Eagles fired offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo after their early playoff exit. That means it's a new year, and it'll be another new play caller for Jalen Hurts. That's become something of a tradition. I mean, look at this. Whomever the Eagles hire for the next season will be his 13th play caller since his freshman year at Alabama. The last time he had one in consecutive seasons was Shane Steichen, who took over as play caller halfway through the 2021 season, then came back in 2022 before leaving to become the head coach of the Colts. Huck, what should Philly be looking for in its next OC?
They're looking for some kind of stability. And I don't mean that from a standpoint that each year it's a new offensive coordinator. I mean offensively. When you watch this team this year, they looked predictable. They looked like they had nothing to hang their hat on. And when they did play well, it seemed more like a broken clock being right twice a day. So for this new offensive coordinator, you have to have something that takes the pressure off of these players, no matter how talented they are, something that you can hang your hat on, and you don't need to depend on making superhero-like plays in order for the offense to have production.
Let's go to Baltimore, where owner Steve Bisciotti spoke about their coaching search yesterday.
Unlike 18 years ago, I am very intrigued by coaches that were the hottest offensive and defensive coordinators 5, 6, 7 years ago in their cycles and got jobs and went to teams that were non-competitive and didn't have a quarterback. And they grind for 3 or 4 years, and they're caught up in the cycle of many of my partners. So I said to Lamar, you can jump on my plane or find another way to get up there. But if you're that interested, then we're going to get a schedule. He's going to call me up. He's going to offer you the same luxury. And I said, I hope you take it. And he said, yes, sir, I think I will. So we'll find out.
I love that, by the way. Just to be clear, that last comment was Bisciotti inviting Lamar Jackson to become part of the head coaching interviews. He also said he's talked to Lamar. And he will continue to talk to Lamar after each one. Dan, do you like the idea of Lamar Jackson being in the mix for all this?
I do. I like what he just said there a little bit more, though. I mean, yes, I want Lamar involved, all that. But when he says, I'm fascinated by the coaches that were the hot coordinators years ago, got the head coaching job and didn't have a quarterback and struggled through it, that brings my mind to what? Like, you're going to think the same thing as me.
I got 5 names.
Kevin Stefanski. Mike McDaniel.
Yep.
Brian Flores. Robert Saleh. Who's your 5th?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury, okay. So that's, it's interesting that he, and I love the fact that Mr. Bisciotti's open like that, because I think he brings up.
Those are the parameters, right?
And I also think he brings up like some pretty good points. He's like, wait, 5 years ago, these guys were the hottest things going.
Yeah.
They go become head coaches. They don't have a quarterback. He obviously understands that he does. That doesn't make him a lesser head coach. I think it's interesting, and it kind of reveals a little bit of like who he's really eyeing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, it's like, if I trust you as a coordinator, and then wherever you go, what you don't have, even if you had a good quarterback, you don't have a generational talent like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And if I can pair him with you, then this could be the formula that gets us over the hump. And as it pertains to involving Lamar Jackson in the search, it is absolutely time, because you understand this is the special part of your organization at the moment, and it is the clearest path to a Lombardi. And so you have to make sure that he's on that same page. And Lamar also has to take that responsibility, as he's alluded to, the same exact way. Like, you're not just a player anymore. Like, you are a face of the franchise. To get a Super Bowl, we need you to run this. Like, Harbaugh's gone. You are the guy. It's simple as that. And I think it's much deserved. It's time. He's a 3-time first-team All-Pro quarterback. There's only 8 of those in NFL history, and if I named them, it would be a ridiculous list. And so for Lamar, for Bisciotti, this is the moment. This hire will dictate what the next couple of years will look like in the NFL.
Bisciotti, yeah, it really is. Bisciotti's saying, like, I will send my plane to get you to come and be part of these interviews. He's already checked in with him after the interviews have happened. And it does also make you think they're really taking into consideration who Lamar can vibe with. Like, who is he going to enjoy being around?
Be huge.
It makes me think, too, they're leaning more offensive mind. Now, I know some of those names you mentioned, Brian Flores, you know, maybe he's not as much of the offensive mind of Robert Saleh, but either way, it seems, I don't know.
Yeah, McDaniel obviously would jump there. Flores and Saleh, who's your offensive coordinator? Who is the person that you're bringing to call the plays for Lamar?
And Lamar can totally get on board with whoever that is if he likes that. I mean, how impressive, Dan. The Texans back in the divisional round for the 2nd year in a row. We're going to get to more about what they're going to do in this game and all that, but how did they get to this point? Because the rebuild's been really remarkable.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better rebuilds in modern NFL history. And if you go back to 2021, okay, they hired Nick Caserio as their general manager. They draft Nico Collins. That's the only guy that hits. They're bad that year. They fire their coach, David Culley, 22. They trade in March Deshaun Watson. They draft Stingley and Jalen Petrie. They were bad again. They fire their coach, Lovie Smith. Then you go to 2023. They hired DeMeco Ryans in January, right? Since then, this is an absolute rocket ship when it comes to player acquisition and success. 3 years ago, since then, in 23, they go Stroud, Anderson, Tank Dell, Henry To'o, Xavier Hutchinson, and then free agency, Dalton Schultz and Sheldon Rankins. The following year, in 24, they had Lassiter, Blake Fisher, who's their 6th offensive lineman, Kalen Bullock, Kate Stover, tight end, and free agency, Hunter, Autry, and Derek Barnett. And then this year, Aziz Al-Shaair, Jaden Higgins, Ursary, who's a free agent, by the way, Noel, Marks, and Christian Kirk in a trade. Do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. In the last 3 years, this team's basically added 20 starters. We only play with 22. A couple injuries changed that, but the fact that Nick Caserio, and let's be honest, Houston 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they were a little bit of a disaster with a lot of the things that were going on in conversation off the field, let alone being terrible in 21 and 22 from a football team perspective.
It's amazing.
Ever since that 2023, January, when they hired DeMeco Ryans, it has become a rocket ship, and now they're legit Super Bowl contenders. It's been a 3-year, just one of the more impressive rebuilds we've seen in the NFL.
They've done an impressive job of adding roles, too, because even when you look at the young receivers like Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, they're not tasked to do too much, but you can see their effect on the offense. You talk about Marks. Nick Chubb isn't even on this list, and he's done well for them in his role. Xavier Hutchinson has stepped up. They've got guys in. They've developed them. They've evolved. They fit into a system, and now they're reaping the benefits. And the best part is the best is yet to come. These players are getting better on a year-in and year-out basis.
I think it's impressive, too. They obviously, as a front office, do a great job of evaluation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't have, in those 3 draft classes, you don't have many misses. It's not like they have 40 picks and those are just the hits. They only have 3 or 4 guys that aren't on the team anymore.
For Penn State fans, they could be excited about the receivers because Higgins, Noel, Hutchinson, all from Iowa State. Campbell.
Look at that. Dang. All right, I do want to point this out. We'll see what they do against the Patriots, right, in the divisional round. They're 0-6 all-time in the divisional playoffs. But DeMeco Ryans did tell us that this year's team, they're not just happy to be there. They have this goal in mind to make it to the Super Bowl. They'll have to get past the Texans, though, in our game, the AFC divisional round matchup. And this comes your way, 2:45 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app on Sunday. Coverage begins with postseason NFL countdown at noon Eastern on ESPN. Do not miss this. We got all kinds of great coverage coming your way. How about this, you guys? New on NFL Live, Oregon quarterback Dante Moore said he's decided to return to school for the 2026 season, foregoing a chance to be a top pick in the 2026 NFL draft. His decision expected to have significant ramifications on the draft, right? Dan Moore was number 2 on Mel Kiper Jr.'s big board. What does this mean for the QB landscape now for the draft?
Well, first of all, smart decision by him.
I agree.
It'll be an arms race for the number 1 pick if the Raiders don't decide to take Fernando Mendoza, because I think he's going to be clearly the number 1, at least, quarterback. Now this puts Ty Simpson, very much so, from Alabama, in that conversation. We'll see if the Miami quarterback Carson Beck continues to play at a high level. But I think more so you're looking at 2 names, Malik Willis and Mac Jones, that are going to be highly sought after from NFL teams. Malik will be a free agent. Malik's going to get $40 to $50 million. Mac Jones, I think you're going to have to trade for and probably pay, but teams are going to be desperate for quarterbacks.
Oh, I was going to give you a chance there, Hawk, but we got to go actually anyway. So
I'm told my ear.
either way,